My name is Elsie Mitchell, and I'm a secondary science and CTE teacher at Lake Leschi schools. That's the Puyallup Nation's tribal school. In 2018, I started my master's program that emphasized in inquiry and conservation science because I spent 2 years teaching in Indonesia, and I felt like that was the best way to engage my students in science learning. Throughout my coursework, I discovered traditional ways of knowing taught within Native American communities could actually be the bridge between cultural identity and Western science for my students. To best engage my students, who are all currently of Native American descent, decided an outdoor classroom at the school's unkept wetland area was needed. I researched why going outside was so good for children's mental health, and what I found was actually it's not only good for children's mental health, but also adults too. I did a research project for a course on local wetlands also, where I analyzed the water quality of the wetland that I was working with. I discovered that the water quality was so terrible and unlivable for salmon to grow up there. So my master plan then had two goals. One, to make the area around the wetland accessible and comfortable for children who are not comfortable with being outside, as well as make the water quality accessible to juvenile endangered salmon. The master plan project included hours of blackberry removal, as well as establishing a path to walk on. Then we purchased, or were given, a total of 100 trees that we planted to increase shade and biodiversity around the wetland. This will hopefully improve the water quality in the future. Through this project, I have learned the extensive task of applying for grants, as well as organizing not only volunteers, but getting the right approvals from the superiors of all the project details. I have seen people come beside me and support me in ways I never would have imagined, especially in areas including equipment, manpower, grants, and even contacts. People love a good restoration project. My next steps with my master plan include guiding my students in monitoring the health of the trees, the ones that we planted, as well as keep a tally of how many kids are now newly engaged in science because they get to learn science outside compared to being online. I continue to teach at Lake Leschi schools in the future and hope to build a program that better equips my students for a career in STEM-related fields, while they can also then connect their cultural heritage with climate science. This all to make this community, the wetland ecosystem included, a better place to live in the future.